It's a delight to see you today. It was in 1937 that the facility that is behind you was first commissioned. 1937. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was starting his second term. A gallon of gasoline was 10 cents. Congress was first air conditioned in 1937. So prior to them, Congress had no air conditioning at all. And this is an interesting one. The NFL Boston Redskins moved to Washington in 1937. I won't necessarily, but there's a company represented up here on the stage, I believe was formed in 1937. And there is one of our members on the stage who was born in 1937. So this was an August year. We are celebrating the facility behind us and all the people who have made it what it is. It is probably worthy thinking of what this city was like before it existed. We reached 500,000 people in Washington, D.C. in about 1937. So we had 500,000 people living in the city without a treatment plant. Most sewage went untreated to either Tiber Creek and a canal that paralleled what is currently Constitution Avenue, right through the middle of the city, and discharged near where the basin is, near the Jefferson Memorial. Untreated waste of 500,000 people. At the end of World War II, 650,000 people were in this city. The war had expanded the population, and that's when we're here on the plant really started to kick in. I won't spend a lot of time, so I want to get to our speakers and not have you out in the sun for too long. But it really is a remarkable technical marvel of what is done behind us. But I want to get right to our speaking list. It's a great group that has come to us. And I want to start with our Congresswoman in Congress, one of the most influential members of Congress. She has a great bio in our packet. But what I have known as a person is that every time this district has faced a dire or an situation or a great opportunity, our Congresswoman has been there at the gate, ready to help this city through good times and not so good times. It's fantastic that she's here with us today. She's a great environmentalist as well as advocate for this city. U.S. Delegate Eleanor Holmes Norton.
On its 75th year, we can truly say, and you just heard George lay out the case for what I'm about to say, I think you can truly say that DC Water is being born again. Being born again not only with a new name that very much fits what it really does, but being born again in the billions of dollars of work that is going on around us as I speak. George, I commend you for changing the name to DC Water because it gets to the bottom line purpose of what you do here. It used to be called, you know, it was when it was built by the Public Works Administration of the federal government before Home Rule. It was called the Blue Plains Sewage Disposal Plant. And yeah, that's part and parcel of what they're doing. But what is the reason for this? The reason for what George does here is to make sure that the water we drink and the water in our rivers is clean. In the heart of my Anacostia River bill for the cleanup of the river, the heart of it is the combined sewer overflow section, because that's the most serious contamination in the river, and the river cannot be cleaned without doing something about stormwater overflowing. George, as I told the EPA administrator, I support your proposal to alter the consent decree so that green infrastructure can be used, perhaps even in addition to this monumental work that you're doing out here with the tunneling, to have us experiment with green infrastructure to redo these old plants would really put us in the forefront. Getting the federal government to do its fair share is, as they say, a trip. I have focused particularly on the Clean Waters Project. We have gotten $168 million so far. This year we got another $15 million. We get money every year extra money for this project, but we ought to, because the federal government is the biggest user and the biggest ratepayer.
Hi, everybody. You guys are redefining the term hottie. So let's convert that to party animal and get in the shade and enjoy ourselves on the 75th birthday. We have no more important and no better partner in protecting the environment in the Washington, D.C. than D.C. Water, especially under George's leadership, the members of the D.C. Water Board, and all the employees, and especially the employees. You guys are out there on days like this, when it's 0 degrees outside, doing your darndest to make sure that we've got the best system for water delivery and wastewater management in the country. You deserve a tip of the hat and a great congratulations on having reached 75 years, and we look forward to working with you going into the future. And with that, I will bid you adieu, but the best day to all of you. Thank you.
We're proud of all that we've been able to do on this plant. The digester project, where we're going to generate 13 megawatts of permanent green power, was designed, 40 papers were done by the staff here, but ultimately it is the board of directors that has to make the tough financial and management calls to enable the rest of us to do this work. They have tough questions, they are thorough and determined, they're volunteers. I see trustees here with us. They don't do this for pay. They do this because they understand the importance of it. I know Willie stands here representing all of our trustees that give so much to this organization, but none more than him, Chairman Willie Walker.
I do want to point out quickly that my predecessors as chairman of the board, there are 3 of them who are here. So Michael Rogers, who was the first chairman of the DC WASA board back in 1996, is here. Glenn Gerstel and Robin Martin are also here. I would like to thank the 3 of them for their great service in leading DC Water since it was created into DC WASA back in 1996 for all their work. I think celebrating our 75th anniversary is very important because an organization like this has a long duration, and the decisions we make today go on for a very, very long period of time. 1937 was a very challenging time, just like 2012 is a very challenging time. In 1937, the Golden Gate Bridge was completed. This plant was finished in 1937, but it was only due to great thinking and bold moves back in the 1930s that allowed for the planning and for the implementation of this plant. Similarly, today at DC Water, we are focused on the next 75 years. And as has been mentioned previously, there are 2 big projects going on right now that I think set us up for the future. The first is actually cleaning up, if you will, some bold design that was done when the water system was first created, which was to create a combined sewage system, which took wastewater as well as runoff off the streets and put it into the same sewage pipes. That sounded great and cutting edge back when it was put into place, but unfortunately this community has grown so much that this plant couldn't hold all of that sewage. And so, as you all know, we are investing billions of dollars to create the capture tunnels underneath the Anacostia River today to solve that problem. And that is a project that is going on right now and that will change and transform the Anacostia River as well as the Potomac River. The other is the digester project that's taking place right behind you. And the digester project is one of those innovative projects where we didn't have to spend this money. We're spending about $400 million on creating the digester to take the solid waste that comes out of this plant and to turn it into energy. And it is one of the most innovative, if you will, closed-loop environmental investments that has clearly happened in this area, but around the world, these types of projects are as cutting edge as you can get. And so I would just say thank you all for being here. 75 years is quite an anniversary, but the really important thing is what we're investing in today to make it so that 75 years from now, this community is equally as well benefited by this plant, by the people who make DC Water run every single day. And so for that, I would say thank you all, and thank you, George, for all of your great leadership.